Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Eagle Trading, 5:09 p.m. May 22nd, 2020. I'm working on fumes today. I didn't have too much sleep, but let's go through the numbers for today. First thing of order, I guess, is the EVFM that we were talking about for a while. Expecting approval from the FDA on a resubmission for a contraceptive gel. Did get approved. It wasn't supposed to be until the 25th, so they surprised the shorts with a little early approval over the weekend after hours, and we're up like 30 something percent. I don't think we're going to get a big move until possibly Tuesday. I did sell a little bit in after hours just because you never know. I certainly don't want them to announce a secondary on Tuesday morning, but they will announce a secondary sooner rather than later to fund this drug sale. And there's a little bit of, concern about what kind of growth they can expect out of it, profit margins, competitors, all the other good stuff that goes into these biotech approvals and classes of drugs. The other one was, so here it is after hours. Here's the sinister thing. This is how pathetic the stock market is, and we're going to go into detail on that more. Let's remove this line, but that is the line. So if you kind of look at EVFM, it kind of has like a little support area here that I guess you'd say it's a transitionary line between what causes it to go to the down to the drop rather quickly once it crosses, and then when it gets above it, it seems to have a little bit of juice. It's like a little bit of a pivot area in here, but it's not really important because this stock's not going to move according to technicals. It's basically just people posturing and getting in and out according to what they think the possibility of the approval is. So a lot of people are emailing me saying, should I add, I don't know why my line's crooked there, should I put a stop in? And I said, absolutely do not put a stop in. And you can see today, intraday, that line, once it was breached, that's not the line there, by the way, it came crashing down. And my opinion is that somebody already knew they were going to get approval, and they forced the stock down to break the stops, and then they bought a bunch of cheap shares, because what happened once it dropped precipitously on this massive candle, they bought the hell out of it. In fact, they were buying more, and it proceeded to go from literally $4, and I almost bought some too because I kind of knew they were manipulating it. It went from $4 to $4.12 to $5.12, just about, in a matter of, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, not even. Yeah, about an hour. But it was just crazy, and it literally made this move within, I don't know, let's see, that's 40, yeah, that one's about 45 minutes, but that one's maybe an hour and 30 minutes. But it just goes to show you that there is some manipulation in the market. People do know what's going on ahead of time, and certainly this one is no exception. So, like I said, I don't think there'll be any big movement until Monday. I did sell a little bit in after hours because I don't know when they're going to announce the secondary, but they will definitely announce the secondary to fund the sale of this new drug. And we'll have to see how it goes. Looking at it again from the daily 1 year, is there any areas of resistance that we can kind of gather? I guess somewhere in the sevens. We're probably not going to get there until Tuesday. It probably hasn't even hit a lot of guys' radar, but Tuesday morning, I'm sure everybody will pick up on it and see the news and see the after hours if they're not recognizing it today, or they don't want to get involved and going into a long weekend. But Tuesday morning, hopefully they'll gap this thing up and we can start selling into it, and we'll see how that goes. The other one today that we talked about was this one just broke my heart, man. This thing was I was killing it, and then I got greedy. Was killing it. Cancel that order. I had too much of this, but it was playing the channels beautifully. And in fact, when it broke through this channel, I was like, man, this thing could really get cracking. And we were talking about it on Discord and Twitch Live when it was, I don't know, 42, 43, and I said I'd probably, my son asked me, are you going to do a revenge trade today, because Thinkorswim shut down early in the morning and screwed me up. So I had a bad start to the day, let's just say, but made a really nice trades in here and got back a lot of my money. The problem is, once we started to take some form here, and bounced along this channel line. I took another trade in here and thought, okay, it was just kind of hanging out by the VWAP. And I was like, I think this thing could have legs though, so I'm not going to get shaken out. And once again, don't ever get emotionally attached to a stock, because hanging out by the VWAP, and then I thought maybe it would fire back up, and it did, and then they kind of sold off, and it's kind of drifting in after hours. So thought I would get all the way back up to this channel line here, like at 44.30, and I could sell some in here. This was kind of like when it was sitting over here. I don't know. I can't remember what the price was, but in any case, it was great trading. Hopefully you guys made some money at least on that, and we can carry a little bit over for next week and see how this thing sorts out. I need to do a little bit more research on the company, but I think they're in a pretty good position cash-wise, and I know they have a really good topping growth and on some of the products that they offer, and we'll go from there. So what else we got today? Crazy watching like SPY, just like my channels intraday. There's a Fibonacci line at 295.44, I think it is, or 43, and as soon as it hit there today, I got a little trigger alert, and I sold short, and I put a really tight stop. The stop was 295.51 to cover. So once again, you can see how crazy this market is, and I'm going to zoom in and bear with me here, and I'll bring that back in for you guys to look at. So you can really see how everything's kind of algorithmic trading. Let's get the VWAP out of there because we really don't need that. And once we hit that Fibonacci number, I sold it short. The problem is I probably should have kept my shares, and once we dumped here, I thought, okay, we're going to get a nice continuation move. I was looking for it to come back down to 294.50 before I would cover, which it did eventually. But when it popped back up here, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. What I should have done was follow my trend line here, and it just back tested the trend line break, right? But I was like, I want profit, I need to move on. So it was a really tight, nice trade. Yeah, this would have been beautiful. And then what did they do? They proceeded to run it up in after hours, breaking all the highs. You know, it's just like, who's buying this stuff? I was short SPLK today. I mean, who is buying this crap? I mean, I know there's a ton of retail investors in here. It is really hard to fight the trend, guys. And I got to remind myself, stop trying to reason with this stuff. Just go with the flow, right? We're going to zap this one up a little bit, and I'll show you. I mean, just watching this intraday, they were buying every dip. Every dip. So once it started to take shape again, right, and kind of bounced off this high area, once it broke in here, I shorted it. I got stopped out, and then once it retested the high, I shorted it again. Now that trade was good, but here's where I should have gone long, right? Let's zoom in really close here and look at this. So this is a little bit of a weird channel, right? And the only reason I draw it is because there's like a little bit of a pivot pop there. So I kind of think it's important to look at the longer, not longer term, but the macro version of the intraday trade. So we start to form this little channel here, right? It's starting to narrow, and it's kind of bear flagging a little bit, and it does start to break, but then it pops back up and back tests it, and that's probably where I should have bought long. And I got to start switching my process here, that this market is full of nut jobs, and they're buying every dip on everything, whether it's Apple, as long as it's moving, and you'll see the 1 year chart of this thing's crazy. But this back test here, I should have bought that. Once we broke back above that line right there, this line right here, that should be bought. And from now on, it's going to be, I'm going to have to train my brain to think bubbly, like all these people in the market right now. So back testing it, probably would have put my stop somewhere down here. And then, man, look at this monster move from 182 up to 185. And then this back test again and kind of energy fail, right? Pushes up through, but I mean, we're just all over the place with some of these stocks. It's crazy. ADCT, that was another IPO that we talked about. Beautiful on this one. I don't know if the 1 year daily will look crazy, but you can see we keep hitting all-time highs on that one. We bought this at, I think it was 30.30 and 30.70, and it's just been monster move. We sold a little bit, but these are great, you know. And maybe NRI. Here's the problem with NARI. NARI priced the offering, I think, at like $20 a share, and it's already a double. I mean, I was hoping for it to open up around 25, 26, 27, and they opened up around 40. So everybody that had the IPO shares are pretty much doubled their money unless they had restrictions in sales. So why wouldn't they take profit? Of course they're going to take profit. But this move here was tremendous, and I just got sucked into it emotionally. And I was like, okay, if that move can be done, I'm sure we can bounce here again, right? At least get back up to somewhere into the 46 area. Nope. Hard lesson learned again for an experienced trader like myself. So here's the frustration of day two, and I won't drag this on because we got plenty of time this weekend, guys. PANW, big moves after market or after hours, or I'm sorry, pre-market. Earnings news, Palo Alto Networks. I thought it had run pretty far, and I was looking at some longer term, resistance areas, and this little pivot in here kind of zoomed in, and I was looking at some breakdown points, right? Looked like some of this area is a breakdown. So this candle is definitely a breakdown, right? Big gap to the downside, and the high of that candle was 248. So I'm thinking somewhere between the closing of 243 and 248, this PANW going into the weekend is going to get sold. So I had a bracket short opened up this morning. And let's look at the intraday. And I just left the bracket short there and didn't even bother with it. Well, my short was at I forget what it was, put it this way, it just didn't get filled and it missed it by nothing. Let's squeeze that down. Sometimes these Thinkorswim charts get a little bit wonky. It's kind of annoying. Maybe you guys can teach me on Thinkorswim a little better as far as the aesthetics and how they look and stuff. I think my short was 243.80 or something, and it would have been a beautiful thing because it dropped freaking 12, 13 points from the high. I mean, this is the kind of week I've had, man. Just missing stuff, right? Just a few tweaks here and there, and we're just killing it. We're killing it, but it is what it is. Norwegian Cruise Lines, those are kind of range bound. Hit the 15s again. That should be sold on the 15s. I don't know what they do from here. It's nice to see them above 1320. That was some resistance. The SBBS that we talked about. Was it SBBS? We did the prior video on it. Might have been SBS. On YouTube, did exactly what we wanted it to do. And we're looking like 795, as we talked about, is definitely happening. In fact, it probably happened after hours, if I'm not mistaken. And what we liked about it was the break of the bull flag wedge from the descending line in here. Let's make this nice and fat, and we'll move it over. So that prior video, you guys can look it up. It's in the videos there. We like this pop right here, so we were buying this. And we said if the volume can be higher than the prior selling day, we can get some movement here. And then we hit the top line, right? And then we pushed through that. And then today we fired off again to the upside. So obviously if we add in our daily study, you'll see that we are headed to what I'm using as a 45-day moving average, because I'm kind of tightening my stops up a little bit and tightening up my price ranges, given this market's a little bit crazy. But yeah, target price we talked about maybe 795, which is right there. I think we pretty much hit that in after hours. I think a few sales went through in 795. So another nice trade there as well. Trying to see if I'm missing anything else. Like I said, I don't think we're going to get a big move in our EVFM biosciences until Tuesday. Financials are looking a little sketchy. It's a little bit of a red flag. I tried to get some BABA today at 198.20. I'll have to wait till Tuesday. Don't use that price. I just was like a Fibonacci retracement area that I was looking at, and a little bit of a wedge pattern that I have right in here. I'm not going to zoom in on there because the charts are getting all crazy, but today was a pretty good day, but it could have been a hell of a lot better with a few tweaks here and there. The market still looks, the Qs look kind of tired, but not really. It's hard to explain, but let's see if we back test that top trend line that we expected. So our prices hit. We hit, this Bluetooth thing is jacked up. We hit our price target on the Qs based on some proprietary channels that we built, and you can see that we hit it. That was our target price. And if we look in a little bit closer, we did tag it, literally closed on it. I think that was probably Wednesday. Then yesterday We dripped back down. Today we kind of bounced from a little bit of a lower low and then popped back up. I know we're not super tight in there. So a lot of stuff's moving and chopping intraday. You know, Shop made a new high. We always like to buy Shop on weakness. That's been on a freaking tear. But it looks like the Qs overall are kind of hitting a little bit of, I don't know, they're getting a little bit overbought here, and we're hit the trend line. We got to stick to our trend lines here and not chase stuff. We look at the Hekinashi candles. We talked about 5 waves. We have 1 consolidation, 2, 3, 4, and then here's the 5th wave. Now we have an indecision Hekinashi candle. Usually it's 2 or 3 before you have the next move. There's 3 there upside. There's 2. There's 2. There's 3. You won't find these in the regular candles. So I said the selling would probably begin on Wednesday. So Tuesday we might have, who knows, and then Wednesday we're either going to go parabolic to the upside and end this massive move we've had and cap it off, or we're going to kind of roll back and touch one of these lower trend lines in here, depending on, I don't know, how things look and what the news is at the time. But we've hit our price targets. What else can we do? We can't keep chasing. 5 waves. Usually your last wave is your weakest and shortest wave. Doesn't mean a lot of the internal stuff isn't still flying, like we said, SHOP and stuff like that. So I'm going to end the video here. I don't want to keep dragging this on, guys, but look at this move. Up another 2.4% today, up another 22 points on Shop. And Shop is still in wave 4, I believe, of this uptrend. Do we even call this a wave 1? I guess we could. 2, 3. 3 was a little extended there, and then 4. Could be a wave 4. Who knows? But what a move. What a freaking move in SHOP. So let's end it there, guys, and we'll have more this weekend.